We are in the chair. I think you can see we're alive. Yep. Hey, Mark, great to see you.
Hey, I'm excited. We're getting younger. We're using the young show technologies for the young people, and that's why everyone on the show is under 30 years of age. And so we've got the young fella coming over from Adelaide. Can you believe he's got he's here?
I don't believe it, mate. What a legend. How are you, Steve? Can you hear us?
He's just got himself on mute. At 30 years of age, you do that sort of stuff. We do have a bit of an echo in the studio.
We're just going to talk about that there. Great to see Steve. Stephen came from...
He's on mute. Stephen Kane on mute. You've got to unmute yourself.
Here on Paul, Mark and the tech guy, the great man in the studios. Julio Valencia, great having him on the team tonight. And we're kicking the show for 2024.
Hey, this is a new show. Paul, Mark, and the tech guy. How good's that?
Not bad at all, mate. Not bad at all. How are we going here? If you do a right turn, Julio, can you see it? And you know, a big wave out there. So we've got a massive show. We're going to start that shortly. How about we just take a quick song and we'll come back very, very shortly. The Paul, Mark, and the tech guy show. Hold on, we'll be back.
It's good seeing you, mate.
Good on you, man. Sensational.
Okay, Mark, you're doubling up. Stephen muted himself.
We're live. We're still live here, Julio, and I've taken one of my microphones off.
Yep. Okay, talk now.
How are you going? What are we up to? What's the deal?
That's heaps better. That's really good, guys.
Are we right to go? We've got Steve back on.
He reckons I've got one of them.
Yep.
Hello, Julio.
Hey, Steve. How's it going? Sorry about the problem with the delay stuff.
No, that's all right, man. It's just, hey, I'm not very good at this stuff, but hey, happy days, we're here.
That's it. How are you sounding? You're sounding heaps better now. Can you hear us all right?
Sorry?
Can you hear me all right, or are you still...
Yes, I can, yes. Yeah, I can hear you all okay. I think I've got everyone going, so that's good.
Great. Now, Mark, can you come back online? Here we are. The guys are just listening to some music while we're chatting away here. Yep. So just give us a second.
Beautiful.
As long as you get yourself a cuppa and ready to join in this new discussion group.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? Fantastic, guys. Good on you.
Hey,
Mark.
Mark's bouncing. So we've got this thing where we've got the radio station happening and we've got us happening. So they're in the song, so they're off in another world while we're sitting here and live on Facebook, basically. So
that's beautiful. Hey, very exciting to be a part of what you guys have put together this year.
Yeah,
and really appreciate it, man. It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, it'll be really good fun too.
Yeah, exactly. I can't hear Mark.
No, he's on mute.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's got mute. He's on mute on. Yep. I was going to tell him to unmute himself.
Yeah. You been doing well, man?
I've been doing really well, yes. I've been really good.
Good idea.
Can you hear me now on this screen?
Yeah, yes. Now we've got you.
Yeah, good day, Mark. How are you?
Coming all the way from Adelaide. That's why it's taken so long to get there.
That's it. We're just a little bit behind, but we'll catch up to you.
Fantastic.
That's it.
We've still got these echoes, but we've got to work out this technical stuff, but we will do that. But isn't it great being here back in 2024 on the radio with Paul Curry? I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's exciting to be back in the chair with you, Mr. Watt and Julio and Steve. So I'm just looking over here so I can say a big way about Steve from Adelaide. But
good to see you, man.
Absolutely, man. And so just give us a quick one. What time is it over there in Adelaide town?
It's 6:35, so we're about half an hour behind you guys. So
that's the way.
Still plenty of sunshine happening.
Well, mate, sorry to take you away from your dinner time, but let me just tell you, as we've been sorting out the dinner issues, well, you've been sorting out the dinner issues, we've sorted out the tech stuff, but we're back in the chair for 2024. Paul, Mark, and the tech guy. We've got a little bit of echoing going on, but you know what? It's February, and who cares? Tonight's show, It's a discussion between three blokes in a podcast form, radio show, talking everything.
Oh, he's dropped off.
Yeah,
You've
dropped off there.
Hey,
Are we back?
Yep, you're back. You're back now. There you go.
Yeah, it's dropping in and dropping out. All righty. So should I go back through that bio? But it's all about
Yes.
just a great chat, community sports, current, controversial news, and of course technical with Julio Valencia. Hey, welcome, Stephen Kane, mate. I just want to brace it before Mark gets on to the chat because he always steals the information. Let me just tell you, but. Let me just say, I've been doing a little bit of research on you, mate, and I've known you for a few years, so you're a great bloke. A raw and human keynote your audience will never forget. Now, what is all that about, mate? Talk to me. Talk to us.
Yeah, I love to have a very powerful voice and a very powerful message, and especially around the issues that we're here for tonight, about talking about men and the issues surrounding men and how we can just learn to deal with that stuff. But yeah, I've been very blessed to get to the stage in life as a man that's struggled from younger ages to be where I am today. So I'm very, very happy to be here, man.
Well, Stephen, you changed lives. Tell us a bit about your mission, because I know it all started under a bridge.
Yeah, where I am today, and as you can see, I've got my logo, on the other side, very, very proudly represented today. I look, as a young man, as a young teenager, I grew up in institutions from the age of 12 and graduated my way through to prisons. And as a man, I suffer from PTSD and anxiety and stuff, and I found it hard to get through life and to just fit in. And about 17 years ago, I ended up homeless again. I was in my early 50s, and I was living under a bridge. And 17, 18 years later, wherever we are today, time's getting away from me. I've been able to come through the other side. And now I talk to men about how we can change the things that we do and the things that we've learned. So I'm very blessed and very grateful to be able to come out the other side and, as I said, be a part of this open discussion.
Well, I'd hate to tell you this, but Paul's come back to the radio because he's a bit lost out there in his manhood. So what we're trying to do tonight is just work out what manhood's all about. So where do you place us as men? What do you hold, to your heart as a man?
Look, one of the things that I've come to learn on my journey is one of the most grateful things we have is everybody's an individual and nobody's the same. So every man is different than the next man. And I think that we just, we learn to go through and cope with what we go through. And sometimes we don't have the right tools. But while you're talking about that, I do actually have something that I think that men should do every day, and should think about themselves, and something I live by. So if we've got a moment, can I share a quick poem with you guys about men? Just a little quick one that I live by every day, that I teach people every day. That men, look, we are precious, we are important, and we are special people. And, we should never forget the sight about us and who we are. And we should start to look after ourselves as men. We honestly can be our own worst enemy. And, we say and do things to ourselves that we wouldn't allow others to do. So one of the things that I teach during my programs, and I bring up with every program for men, is simply this, and it's called The Man in the Glass. This was written by a man who was on death row in America, and they found it written on the wall after they'd executed him. And it's very powerful. I'd like to share it with you. It basically goes, when you get what you want in the struggle for life, and the world makes you king for a day, then go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what that man has to say. For it isn't a man's father, mother, or wife upon whose judgment must pass. the person whose judgment counts most in life is the man staring back from the glass. He is the one to please, never mind all the rest. He's with you right to the end. And if you pass the most dangerous, difficult test, if the man staring back at you is your friend. You can fool the world down the pathways of years and get pats on the back as you pass, but your final heartache and reward will be if you lie to the man in the glass. How beautiful and powerful is that?
That's amazing. That's really good.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean about us men finally stepping back and looking at ourselves and taking time for us to love ourselves, for us to respect ourselves. It's not that we put anyone second best or third best or whatever, but it's about just taking that time for us to just stop and realise as men that we're doing the best we can. We're doing the greatest job we can. And, you know, we don't have the answers. There's no rule book to being a man. There's no rule book to being a father, a husband. There's no rule book to anything in life. So I'd like people out there to remember, you know, that as men, we're trying our best. And there's men that are out there today. This is a big passion of mine. That are men that are out there today. If you're struggling through life in any way, then please reach out. Reach out to me. Reach out to somebody. Because you will never, ever be alone in this world. And that's what I hope today that we can get through to a lot of men that might be listening out there today. So there's my little bit of passion, boys.
That's awesome, mate. That's fantastic. You know, it's Paul, Mark and the Tech Guy, new show here at 98.9 Northwest FM from 7 to 8. We're chatting with Stephen Kane. Absolutely amazing story, mate. If I can just, I guess, comment from, it's not just touching hearts in the male spectrum, but you're also touching hearts in the women, the female section. So Erin, estate manager, I was reading some of your testimonials. We've got a little bit of echoing going. We need to sort that out. But so many people work hard to make a difference to others, but when a person uses their own obstacles and heart-wrenching challenges to help others avoid similar situations and provide them with positive pathways, it is something special. Stephen Kane, raw, vulnerable, breathtaking, someone who has experienced more than most ever do, absolutely. Things many of us can't even imagine. He makes no excuses and spends his time giving back to those who need it the most. He wants everyone to know it's okay to be you, exactly what you were just saying, Stephen, and that you have your own voice. And I love this, that you have your own voice, yeah? He encourages people to accept and celebrate themselves as they are, not who they think they should be. So don't change yourself. Is that right, Steve? Don't change yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be who you are.
Here, that you're the one who will ever truly belong. That's great, mate. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I can turn that volume, mate. Okay, we're still going to look. Thanks, Marcus.
I'm just going to ask Paul to turn my studio mic off. And I think that might work better. Yeah, that's better. I think that's going to be better. Oh.
But I think, though, that makes, you know, without a doubt, the impact that you're having
Hey,
on people.
you know what I've discovered, Paul?
Yeah.
Given the amount of echo in this room, I understand now how Essendon lost by 70 points in the practice game. It does take a bit of getting the team together.
Well, I guess a burger of the lot stands to more reason than coming into the technical.
That's it. Well, I'm glad I'm in the other studio because I can't hear any echo. It's really nice and quiet here. It's peaceful. Plus, I'm away from Mark, so less banter on my behalf and more control.
Beautiful.
So we lost you, Paul, again. So we can't hear you. And
Yeah,
I'm here. I don't know what's going on, mate.
it's still there. Beautiful.
Can you hear me?
just
Well,
yeah.
you know what? There you go. Does that work? But I think for our listeners out of 98.9 land, whilst we try and get all our streaming stuff worked out, I just want to frame up the show. So we're just fortunate to have Stephen Kane from Adelaide on tonight. I'll come back a little bit. So tonight, coming up around the corner from around about 7:25, we're going to quick break. We go to a song, and then we've got a new segment called Top 7 Around 7. All right, so I'm going to be doing that. So stay tuned for that one. I'm not going to tell you what's the top 7, but I want Stephen Kane to help me out on this one because I reckon there might be something that you know. And also, as we take you through the evening, close to 7:42. Well, there's no doubt about it, mate. When you wear the headphones, you always get the foldback, but I can actually get 3. I've got 3 lots of foldback going on. So I don't know who's talking. Coming up around 7:46, we're in another new segment, and this is what you'll find on Wednesday night show. It's topical commentary. Now, I'm not going to tell you who we're going to talk about tonight, but it's going to be interesting, and I want...
Oh, now he's frozen.
Hey, it's the first one for the year. There's always going to be a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but
That's right.
yeah,
Can't hear you,
fantastic.
Mark. You're on mute again. I think.
Yeah, Mark's gone again.
I'm back again.
I love it.
That's it. You're back.
I'm back, mate.
And you know what? You know what I love about this, and for everyone out there that's listening, you know, this is not a made-up show. This is
No.
just blokes getting together, trying to make a difference in people's lives and spread a good bit of good news. And that's what I mean. We're allowed to have these little hiccups, guys, you know, and I think that's what makes it so real for people, you know?
Yeah.
That's it, Steve.
Well, that's why we've got the tech guy here to make sure all the technical stuff goes so well.
Can you see my side's pretty good? Your side over there is horrible. I don't know what to tell you.
I think we're sharing. We just need that. We need that. We're going to get it all sorted. That
We are going to get it sorted. I'm going to be in another studio next week. And but Steve, so good having you, mate. So good having you. And how many people do you think you've spoken to in the last few years? Like since you started, after you left the bridge, you started your organisation. You speak all around Australia, literally. How many people do you reckon you spoke to?
And that's a great question. I say to people probably over 5,000. By the time I take in everybody in Victoria, New South Wales, Perth, all over Australia, as well as my constant work here in South Australia. So I think I've probably been blessed to meet about 5,000 people to come through my programs and that I've been able to touch their lives. And it's just a blessing to, you know, every now and then I get a phone call or I'll get a text message. Hey, bro, do you remember me? You know, I've got a job now and, you know, things like that. And it's just absolutely amazing. And that's what I want people to know, male, female, young, old. You know, I'm 66. I'm starting on a new journey this year and I'm going to try and go into the corporate market and do some speaking there. But, you know, I was under a bridge 17 years ago. So never give up out there, you know, like always try and reach out and just don't give up because, you know, things can change. No doesn't mean no. It means next opportunity, yeah?
That's right, mate. It's great. We're on the youth show. This is the young people show. We've got all young guests on here, young presenters. Now, Steve, if you had to sum up those 5,000 people, what do you reckon most of them were talking about to you? What's the message? Out of all those 5,000 people, how would you sum up all of them in sort of a few sentences?
Wow, that's probably the hugest question I've had in the 16, 17 years I've been doing this, Mark. I think from all of the feedback that I get from people, it's not just about the change that they've got from our philosophies and what we do, but it's a change that they've taken home to their wives and their children. And it's changing the families. It's changing the next generation of people and families. And I think the biggest thing that I take away from it and the pride I have from where I am today and what I do is the fact that so many people take our philosophies home. They live by them every day, as I do, because I'm a firm believer, you know, if you're going to go out and say something to somebody, you've got to live what you're saying. And I live everything that I teach people. So I think the biggest thing is just the change in family, the change in next generations, the thank you for the job, the thank you for the, you know, just those little things that make the big difference. And it's just such a blessing to get those. So I think that would be about it. Yeah.
Now, Paul and I, you might not realise, we run a little social enterprise called Social Engine. And it does get a bit hot in the kitchen sometimes. It gets pretty hot in the kitchen. What would you say to Paul when he gets a bit, bit hot, a bit stressed? He's in the kitchen. What do you say to a lot of people you meet? What's those letters, that little motto you've got that you'd share with Paul to help him in those difficult situations?
And then he says, I'm feeling the sweat right now, and it's not a kitchen.
Love your work, man. Hey, look, for Paul, for anyone, but hey, for Paul, the first thing I do is give him a hug. I love that man. He's so awesome. But look, I've got a thing in that I live by in my life, which is a story from Aboriginal culture about when crocodiles first came to Australia, how they came and they fell from the sky into our lakes and turned our lakes blue. And I'm very associated with that. And we have a thing called romper. So we talk about romper the crocodile. And romper basically means it's ROMPA. I've got it right here. It's on my number plate. It's near my front door. Yeah, maybe we can get it tattooed for Paul or something. We can all chip in and get that sorted for him. But basically, romper has that's it right there, man. It'd look great, mate. Yeah. It'd be your first one, would it?
Absolutely, man. 100%.
But romper basically means relax, observe, manage, patience, and act. And what I love about this, and as I said, I live this every day. I have severe trauma. I have severe PTSD. I struggle every day, just like every other person out there does. But one of the things I've found is with romper is that I can break this up. So there are days I might need to get up and manage things. There's days I might need to get up and just observe things. There are days I might just need to get up and relax or have patience or act. And you can break it down. And it's been a godsend to me in my life and the way that I deal with things today. It's changed people's lives. People are at home. I've got people that have gone out and got romper tattooed on their hands, romper tattooed on their arms. Like this has just become something that is so crazy that from under a bridge to getting people into the romper family and giving them a sense of purpose is absolutely beautiful. So yeah, it's just a true blessing for me. I still don't get it sometimes. You're going to
get it on your arm, mate?
Well, I tell you what, let's just reach out and say hi to Laura Anderson and ask Laura, would you like to get a tat romper? Or how about Janine Chandler? Thanks for jumping on, checking us out there. Christopher James Vincent, if it's okay, I mention your names over the line. Thank you.
And don't forget Adam Gibson. Good old Adam. It's good to see you there, mate. Steve-O knows Adam.
And I do. Hey, Adam. Hope you're doing well, and thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. It's great to be able to spread the message. Yeah.
Adam Gillo, yeah, fantastic. James Knowles, he's got a show Thursday night. We won't plug it today, but maybe next week. Paul Mark and the Tech Guy, brand new show here on 98.9 Northwest FM, and that echoing is really knocking me out. But that's okay, because we're going to come back very shortly with top 7 around 7 here on 98.9. Stick around, Stephen. You're going to hang out, yeah? You can't have your.
Definitely, yeah.
What are you doing for dinner? T-bone? Or
no. Probably 2-minute noodles tonight.
But before we go, Chris wants to know what romper means again.
Take it away.
Romper. Take it away. Relax, observe, manage, patience, act. ACT. So yeah, just absolutely amazing.
No, that sounds great.
And thank you for asking the question. Yeah,
we can put it on line there. Just put on that feed for us, or check us out. So website, Stephen.
Sorry.
Oh, you lost you. Mark's gone. Paul's side too.
Yeah, that's all right. I've still got Paul. Yeah, look, guys, if anyone wants to know any more about me or anything like that, you can look me up on Facebook. Empathy, not sympathy. I've got a page up there and my contact details. Or look, if you wanted to, you can Google me. There's a couple of things on Google from a couple of interviews that I've done where I'm trying to reach out. Stephen Kane, Empathy Not Sympathy. So you can reach out that way. And look, for anyone that's listening, if you want to reach out to me, you're more than welcome to do that. Ring me, send me a message, whatever the case may be, and I'd be more than happy to hook up if I can help or assist anyone out there, yeah?
Yep, sounds good.
Fantastic.
These
So
two
we've still
guys-
lost Mark.
We've still lost
Yeah.
Mark. Paul's gone
That's all right.
silent. He doesn't want to talk to us anymore.
That's all right. He's a great man, that young fella there, Mark. He does a lot of good, passionate stuff for the community and for everybody, and he always has. And that's what I mean. To be a part of what we're doing this week is absolutely amazing. So, and you know, you too, Julio. We don't say much about you, man, but you're just a legend, bro. You just come in and you're just doing what you're doing. It's beautiful, and thanks for coming on board. You know,
No,
it's really good, man.
Good pleasure.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's just a beautiful day.
Yes, it
But
is.
you know, when I talk about romper and stuff like that, what I really would like people to know is that I do truly live this. It's everywhere in my house. I'm a full-time grandfather of a young fella that's had his fair share of trauma, and he's not even 9 yet. But one of the things that I've taught him is romper. And when his trauma kicks in, I just go romper, relax, and it seems to have that effect on him. So, g'day, Mark. How are you, man?
He set himself up. I think he's not ready just yet. He doesn't know his life.
But yeah, so, and that's what I mean about reaching out. That's one of the parts about. There he is. How are you, man? That's one of the parts of why we're here together and we've all come together tonight. Is if we can get people to reach out. If we can get people to say, you know, look, I'm not sure how to do this, which is fine. You know, it's really confusing sometimes on which way do we go and what do we do. And, you know, let's ask people tonight, reach out, find me if they want to, reach out to other people. If you're not doing well, put your hand up and ask for help. It's one of the best things you could ever do for yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's a good message, a great message, especially for blokes and what they need to hear. We need a bit more of this. We really need some help. We need some assistance. And we need to basically start learning to show our emotions and share a bit more of our past and what's going on inside us.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Steve, can you hear me, mate?
Sorry?
Yeah.
You can hear me okay? Okay, for some reason, since I left the studio, I've left Paul behind, unfortunately. I don't know why that's happened, that Paul can't hear me. And, you know, I don't know what's happened there. But I'm sure we've got the tech guy here, Steve, so I'm sure he's going to work it out for us.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
Maybe I have to come back to this. Do you reckon I've got to come back to the studio?
He's on mute at the moment, so I'm trying to find out if he can unmute his Facebook.
Okay, I think he's doing the ads and all that, so he's having some time out. So Steve, we must catch up, mate. What I want to do, talk to you a little about, mate, just while we've got a bit of a break in the show, is where do you think the Bombers and the Blues are going to line up? Who's going to be higher this year? And obviously, Julio's gone for the Tigers. Can we put them in ranking? What do you think, mate?
Look, I won't get into the Tigers thing because I don't know much about how they're doing. But I just think that's just one of the most ridiculous questions I've ever heard, Mark. Come on, man. Where do you think we're going for the premiership, mate? I've already gone down and put 50 on Carlton for the premiership. We're into it.
Probably the better question is who's going to be higher, Richmond or the Bombers? Because I think you're right. I don't think we're going to be very close to the Blues. I think you're going to be under top 4, and we're going to be battling Richmond for a place in the final 8, the bottom 8.
Hey, look, like every year, it's going to be interesting, isn't it?
It's going to be nice there.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if we get some questions from the audience. Have we got any questions of Steve? Anyone wants to? We're just on a bit of a break at the moment from the radio part of the show, but we're still here live on Facebook. We've got a few people here. Chris reckons Carlton hands down. He is obviously a Carlton supporter. I can't remember whether our friend Adam used to barrack for an AFL team because he obviously lives in rugby land. And But,
Go the Rabbitohs.
Also, I wonder if we've got anyone else here that wants to make a comment about anything for Steve. Steve and I actually, one thing we have done in our little time together, Julio, is we have locked people up. So in a thing called the bailout, and believe it or not, we're actually going to make a comeback with the bailout. We're going to try and lock people up in Adelaide, and Steve and I are going to help someone else to run a bailout in Sydney on the 26th. Now, Adam doesn't know it yet, mate, but I'm going to give Adam a ring and see if he's going to join us up there in Sydney at the bailout. And then we're going to lock some people up in Adelaide. So what do you think about that, Steve-O?
I look very, very excited. I know how much of a difference it makes to people's lives, the raising of the money and where it goes and stuff. And I think it's just amazing. I can't wait, Mark. And I can't wait for the one in Adelaide. Let's get this out there. Let's change lives. Let's get some money into some young people. And, look, when we talk about locking people up, how much of a crazy scenario is that? I spent 17 years in prison, and now you've got me acting as a prison guard, yelling at people and locking them up. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? But, it's all about the money. It's all about raising money and awareness, and especially for our young people out there. We talk about men tonight. We talk about everyone else. But, what about our young people? It's such a struggle out there for them today, and trying to find their identity and where they belong and how they fit into today's society. And the pressures of the drugs and the alcohol that's out there and stuff for them, and it's another big passion that I have in my life. I've got a couple of them, but it's just one of them that I have in my life about, what about our young people, and let's try and make a difference there. And that's what this bailout thing is about. That's what it's about. And I'll certainly be, promoting it here. And making sure and see if we can get, if there's anyone out there that wants to fly in, come on guys, come and fly in, donate a bit of money. If you can't come, we'll let you know when it is, and it's going to be exciting, isn't it, Mark?
It is, mate. Now look, on the radio we're hearing a lot about the youth crime happening around the place. We're seeing a lot of disturbing pictures on the TV, gangs of kids grabbing cars, people stealing things, a lot of violence going on, mate. And now you're out there every week talking to different people. What are you feeling about this youth crime problem? If you were the Premier of Victoria or Mr. Albanese, I'd like you to be Elbow. What would you be doing, mate? What's your top 3 strategies on solving youth crime?
The biggest thing is education. Education. If we're going to take our young people, we're going to incarcerate them. We make them sit around in a cell all day. They should be going to school all day. And look, please, I know there are prisons out there or youth institutions that do this already, but they're not focused around rehabilitation. I've been trying to get my programs into prisons and youth institutions all around Australia. And I personally know myself in my heart that I could make a difference and change a lot of youth's lives if they would only just stop and give me a chance. But it's always sometimes the same scenario. You've been to prison. And I'm still fighting against that today and having a voice about that. But I think one of the first thing is education. If we're going to incarcerate young people, and I was incarcerated at 12 years of age, and I was brutally treated and abused in that institution to an extent that was just not the best situation in the world. We need to stop. We need to listen. We need to give our young people education and rehabilitation. One of the biggest things we don't do is rehabilitation. Who better to talk to our young people about staying out of prison than me, if I've already done it? And, so I think, look, education, rehabilitation, but that comes in a lot of different forms, not just education, but the way they are treated. And I think the next thing would be a bit of compassion. We need to have compassion inside our youth institutions, not have them run like they're a robot, and show our young people that we're not robots. We're not treating them like they're criminals. We want to give them a chance. So I think those three things would be the biggest things that I think. Look, once again, you've struck a nerve. Gee whiz, haven't you struck a nerve? Our youth crime is out of control, and I honestly believe that with my programs that I can cut our youth crime rate by 20%, maybe even a little bit more within the next 5 years, just by doing my programs through the courts.
We better go back to the president of the program, Paul Curry, back in the studio there, in the air-conditioned studio, I must say too, and I'm now in the hot cell. But Paul, how's it going up there in the studio, mate? Looks like you're on mute in my thing, but you with us? Hang on, you're on mute.
No, you're on mute online. Yep.
All right, we're back here at 98.9 Northwest FM. With us, Stephen Kane, all the way from Adelaide. Paul, Mark, and the tech guy, and Stephen Kane with us tonight. Thank you all for your comments. Let's rock with James just quickly. Hi, Paul, Mark, and the tech guy. Great interview, champ. And also Christopher James V. Hey, Steve, what pointers would you give someone trying to find their identity? Well, how about we come back to that one? I want to answer that, but let's make room right now for the top 7 around 7. This is the new segment, and we'll come back to Steve. I need you part of that. I might block Mark and the tech guy, but I want you part of this one, Steve. So
Okay.
I typed in on Google, doing a little bit of research, and it was like, what's the top 7 things to stay out of prison? So I thought, okay, there's a bit of background. Our speaker tonight's a very interesting life experience. And in actual fact, what came up was prison tips to get your mind, body, and soul right during quarantine. All right, so hang on, it's quarantine. So here's how to thrive despite stay-at-home restrictions. All right, so the top 7 stay-at-home restrictions. Are you ready? Here, the first one here at the Paul, Mark, and the Tech Guy show is learn a new skill. I was in prison. Okay, so the prison in term is quarantine at home, yeah? So learn a new skill. So I taught myself how to build websites. So what skill did you learn, Stephen, when you're at quarantine?
What skill did I learn? I learned appreciation. I learned respect for what I have, and that sometimes life can just throw things at us. So yeah, I think that's pretty well what I learned.
Marcus, what did you get? What new skill did you learn during the quarantine?
Well, that's an interesting one because obviously in Victoria, Steve was in the promised land in Adelaide. See, I don't think he had lockdown in Adelaide. I mean, it's only us Victorians that we had lockdown. We were locked down. We had curfew. And I honestly appreciated getting out and coming to the radio station on a Wednesday night. So I suppose it was about appreciation too, in a lot of ways, appreciating my friends that live in 5 kilometres, appreciating getting out to work when I could, and coming to the radio station. So, and also appreciated family. So I think appreciation, Steve, I might copy you on that. I think that was a big one during lockdown.
So that's awesome, mate. So the top 7 prison tips to keep your mind, body, and soul in act. Number 2, write daily, Steve. So what did you write daily?
Oh, letters. Every day we sit down with 4 pages. No, well, I didn't know you back then, and that was probably a good thing, Mark, because you wouldn't want to know me. Letters to family, letters to my mum. 4 pages every day. Yeah, that was it.
Workout daily. So number 4, number 3 is your top. Number 3 out of the sessions is working out daily. What'd you do in a workout?
Actually, I got to the stage, I don't look like it anymore, but I got to the stage where I was running 10 Ks a day. I was in the Melbourne Remand Centre on the treadmills running 10 Ks a day and doing that sort of stuff and lots of push-ups and stuff. But during COVID, I got out and did a lot here at home as well, yeah.
Julio, what did you get up to when you're in lockdown? What was your workout daily?
Same thing. I started getting fit. I was running and cycling, so I was doing that. Plus, during COVID, I was actually working. Like I was stuck I was one of the unlucky ones that was critical in person, and needed to go into work. So yeah.
Wow, there you go. All right, moving on. So connecting with a higher power, Stephen. So our top 7, number 4, connecting with a higher power during lockdown.
Yeah, I actually had a chance in my life where, and I don't want to breeze over it too much, but I actually got to connect with a higher power. I passed away and got to what people call the white light, as people refer to. And it was a journey, but it was a connection to a higher power, and that's one of the reasons that I do what I do today. Is people can term what they term about what they believe and put a name on it or a face on it. But I believe that everybody was put on this earth for a purpose. I believe there is a power greater than us, and I believe that that power that is greater than us is out there, and that was my experience with it. Yeah.
That's awesome. So no, we'll come back to that, Stephen. So number 5, get a side hustle. I think, Marcus, you might be able to help giving Stephen a break here for a minute. So, Mark, what was your side hustle in lockdown?
My side hustle in lockdown. Well, I did enjoy my social enterprise that I run with your good self, mate. Because that's how I got my pass out, because it was essential. We were in a infrastructure project down there at the Metro Tunnel and running a canteen. So that gave me a little pass to be able to go places because we were running a canteen. So, yeah, I think just getting out and helping kids even during lockdown was a good thing.
That's awesome, mate. Number 6, as we're going on here, the Paul, Mark and the Tech Guy show with our awesome guest, Stephen Kane, tonight on 98.9 Northwest FM. Must bring the great local radio into the discussion. A new hobby. And, Stephen, can you relate it to some time when you're in those notorious days in prison? What sort of hobbies could you do or find?
Yeah, actually, we used to make teddy bears. So,
Wow.
yeah, they used to let us actually have needles, sewing equipment and stuff, and patterns for making teddy bears, and a pair of scissors back in the early days. So we could actually make teddy bears. We could also do leather work. So in Coburg, near Pentridge Prison, there's a little museum on, I think it's Urquhart Street. And in there is some leather work that I had done and I did for my mother while I was in Pentridge. And one of them was a poem that was written. So, yeah, there was those little habits, those little things that we picked up in there to learn. And I could still make a teddy bear. Glass painting. I don't know if you guys can actually see behind my other shoulder, this one over here. That's actually a glass painting that I did back in 1982 while I was in prison. And I sent it out to my family. So, yeah, that was another thing I learned to do, was paint on glass.
How awesome is that? What a skill. So that's fantastic. So top 7, number 7, how to thrive despite, or during stay-at-home restrictions. Number 7 is to learn a new language. Marcus, did you learn a new language?
Oh, mate, I'm not a good language man, mate. Probably Julio's the language man. He probably speaks 3 or 4 languages. And one of them's on mute.
I try to limit myself down to at least 2 or 3. It's about it at the moment. So
what's your latest learning language? What is it?
My latest learning?
Yeah.
I'm trying to relearn French.
Oh, how good is that? Do you speak French, Stephen?
No, actually, I don't speak any other languages. I just never got around to learning them. It was just one of those things that just didn't come up in my life. And because I didn't spend a lot of time in school, it wasn't something. So, yeah, all I speak is what you're hearing today. Just a bit of me.
They're very awesome. There you go. There's the top 7. The first top 7 around 7. Thank you.
Yeah, well done, mate. That's good stuff.
Well done, mate.
Awesome.
Good job.
Here at Marketing Tech Guy, we've got the fantastic man himself, Stephen Kane, here on 98.9 Northwest FM. Don't go anywhere because there's lots more coming up around the corner. I'm going to go for a quick ad break and another song. And just consequently, whilst Mark, you were having full-on conversation on stream, I was playing Robbie Neville, Just Like You. And I think, mate, that just really works well with you, Stephen, because we just want to be like you, mate, with focus. You know what I mean?
Thanks for the compliment, man.
That's true.
Well, I
man.
think we're
Right focus.
missing out. We don't get the song on the live
No.
stream. I don't know what the tech man's doing there, but we. What sort of music do you like, Steve? Why Paul's playing his great music in the
Well,
studio? Sorry, mate. Go, Paul.
Before you do that, I just want to bring in. So coming up next, topical commentary. That you're going to love this, Steve. But I want you to participate in this one. And also, we're talking tech with the tech guy at 7:55.
Yeah.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Beautiful.
Well, it's not on the show. It's an action-packed show, and it's just going to get better and better. Thanks for hanging in there with us the first show. I think we've still got on top of a few of the tech issues. I've been forced out into the heat. Paul's still there in the air-conditioned comfort, and Julio's just sitting back smiling.
That's
and
it.
Steve's over there in the promised land of South Australia. So that's the sort of the
So,
update, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Beautiful day.
Yeah.
Sun's been out. I hope you guys are doing all right over there. You've had a hot day in Melbourne today too.
Yeah, 36
So I hope
degrees,
everyone's
mate.
doing safe. Sorry?
Yeah. 36 degrees over here. And what song were you going to play? Like, if you had to give Paul a song to play during the break, like he's just sitting back there listening to a bit of music, what would you be playing on the show?
Wow, that's another good question. You're full of them tonight, aren't you, Mark?
Yes.
I love Bruce Springsteen. I love In Excess, the old stuff. As my wife has said to me, I'm caught in the 80s, but that's all right. But yeah, probably that sort of stuff. I love a bit of Red Gum. They're an amazing Australian band that came out, I think, back in the 80s and really did great. So, okay, yeah. But I can't say it, yeah. But, so no, love a bit of music and, yeah. Yeah, I think Paul's happy with that.
Paul runs a program called Smooth Jazz. So he's a music man, and I think he's just teasing us, listening there in an air-conditioned studio and listening to a bit of music. So, Julio, what about you, mate? What sort of music are you playing there in your air-conditioned studio?
Well, if I was here, I'd be probably putting some jazz on, some old classicals, or even if with the new music, I'd probably go for, I'd say, at the moment, I'm just going back to AC/DC, back to old Arctic Kataka, and just listening to some old tracks of those. So, yeah.
I tell you what, guys, you wouldn't believe this. Big Brothers, Big Sisters has got a dinner on the 17th of April. We've got Sammy Jagg there. We've got an opera singer. We've got ballet dancers or jazz dancers. We've got amazing things. And, mate, if they can get maybe 100,000 people to a Taylor Swift concert, do you reckon we'll get a few to my dinner?
I'm hoping so.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, you're the headline act, aren't you, Mark? So you're more popular than Taylor Swift.
Well, we've got Sammy J. Sammy J's pretty good. And so if you want to
he's pretty good too.
The Big Brothers, Big Sisters dinner, make sure you get on the website, Big Brothers Australia website, and come along. You'll meet. I reckon we're going to try and do the show from the dinner on Wednesday, the 17th of April. It's going to be a big show on that night. And we're going to see if the tech guy can organise us running the show at the dinner. So how's that, Julio?
Oh, well, see if I can get enough echo. More echo, I reckon, next time. Just a little bit more echo.
Yeah. But, look, for anyone that's listening at the moment, for all you guys out there and people out there, look, Big Brothers and Big Sisters. What an amazing organisation, Mark, and thank you so much.
Chris. Don't you think that's a great suggestion by Chris? He's going to try and organise Taylor Swift to come to the Big Brothers, Big Sisters dinner. So we'll be able to fill out the RACV club then. That would be fine.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
So that's a very good suggestion.
The greatest thing about Big Brothers and Big Sisters are the people that get behind it. Look, Mark, I know that, you have a lot of great people out there that support you and everyone in Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And look, I also know that we need some more. And that's the reality. I'm not backwards of coming forwards. I think everybody knows that. But, what you're doing out there and with what you're doing with Big Brothers and Big Sisters, look, if there's anyone out there that can help, maybe drive the bus, come down, do some serving, just do whatever they can would be absolutely brilliant, because I just love what you do, man. Thank you.
I appreciate that, mate. You're a great supporter, and I'm looking forward to the Adelaide bailout, which will be supporting Big Brothers, Big Sisters, hopefully in June in Adelaide. So that's going to be great. So we've got the dinner The other thing we're doing, and I think Julio's coming just before, I think we've got about 30 seconds left. We're doing the Larapinda Trail, which is going to be walking about 45 days in Alice Springs. And Julio, how's the training going for that? Because, I'm in top shape, and I'll be climbing up those mountains in the Alice Springs, mate.
Well, we're going to see. I barely got you up. You barely got up those stairs last time. I'm not sure how you're going to do just walking up a mountain. Like, it's going to be I can't carry you all the way. It's going to be halfway only.
What do you reckon?
Well, I think we'll come back to that one, mate. We're back here at 98.9, back in local radio land. Watch you guys have a bit of fun out there on the stream there on 98.9 Northwest FM. It's Paul Mark. And the Tech Guys show. The Tech Guys came up around the corner, mate, so I want something really cool for tonight. But hey, this is a topical commentary. Now, thanks, Christopher, for just his suggestion to you guys is for you, Marcus, is perhaps get Taylor Swift to the dinner and you'll be set. Well, what do you think, Stephen? Is that the way?
Oh, yeah. Let's just put it out there. If she can't come, then we might get you to come, Paul. Maybe you could do a few songs for us or something there, bro.
Yeah, I can sing something. I could probably do an instrumental tune, smooth jazz hit or something like that.
Hey, look, if enough people want to turn up, I'll come over and sing a song. It won't be pretty, but I'll come and do
it. Why not, mate? Why not? But our topical commentary tonight here on Paul, Mark, and the Tech Guy is, believe it or not, it's Taylor Swift fiasco. So let's have a chat about. So I've been doing a little bit of research today. Listen up. So Stephen, I need your feedback on this one. There's a TikToker. I'm allowed to mention the TikToker's name. Perhaps I shouldn't.
Of course.
Anyway, you can jump online and do you want to mention it, Mark? Or anyway, TikToker.
No, it's got. Yeah, no, it's all good.
No, all good. So 4.2 million views, and this TikToker was on her way flying, I think, into Sydney. She's from Melbourne, flying into Sydney to the Taylor Swift concert. She comments on her TikTok account, if this isn't how you communicate to the Eras tour, then I don't want it, right? She's got 452.1 thousand likes. She's dancing. They're all singing in the airplane. I don't know if you saw that go viral. They're singing in the airplane, flying up. The air hostesses are doing the jig and they're filming it. So that obviously it was a premeditated sort of program. But I guess my question is, how can people just go wild for this lady? I mean, okay, I've got a couple of her songs, or blah blah blah, but 4.2 million views. This woman's making a fortune, obviously making some big bucks out there on TikTok, and she's obviously sold out. She's a mum, she's a husband, and she's just like, I'm flying to Taylor Swift's concert, and this is the jig. This is what we're talking about. This is topical, man, because it's just like, well, the fuss people make when someone's coming out here, and sure enough, it's brought financial support. But listen to some of the comments. And these are the people on the plane. So it's a full plane, 300 people. It's feeling bad for other passengers. This is my personal hell, because they're all singing. And I said, maybe we get, I don't know if Julio can bring it up. I should text it, wasn't it? Imagine you're mourning someone's death and you actually fly to a funeral, and this is going on. 100% asking for a refund. And I'm opening the emergency exit, someone said. So, Stephen, what do you think about the comments on the joy that this lady has singing, the whole plane singing about, Taylor Swift song and all that sort of stuff?
It's just crazy, isn't it? I was only having a discussion with my wife today about how Taylor Swift is just blowing up. And look, congratulations to her. All the kudos in the world. She's doing what she loves. She's out there and she's making a difference. She actually has a voice. And I think that she's having a voice in a lot of areas. And I think she's doing a lot of positive stuff. But hey, look, I don't get it. But, I think when you fly around on an aeroplane like that and you're talking about so much money and all of that sort of thing, I think, hang on, let's just behave yourself a little bit. We're just battlers. We're getting through every day, and you're talking about being on a jet and complaining about people making too much noise, That's just my honest opinion.
Yeah. Marcus, what do you think? What do you think the fiasco around Taylor Swift here in Melbourne and Sydney?
Well, mate, I think, Steve raised a good point about role models, about what kids are following. And I suppose there's going to be, you see the Nazis on TV, you see what's happening around the world with wars and that. And you see a lot of youth crime we talked about before. you got a whole lot of influences out there. So I think a Taylor Swift, that's not a bad thing. You know, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's in some ways, well, it does. I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, it depends what message you want to give, but you know, in terms of some of the competing messages, I think it's a more positive message than some of the others out there. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Correct.
You know,
That's awesome.
You know, I think that you know, it's been a few concerts at the MCG getting 100,000 people lately. So I think there's something going on there with young people trying to find some connection. You know, people are looking for stuff. You know,
yeah, exactly.
And so there is because people have become antisocial through COVID. So I'm quite encouraged that 100,000 people want to get out to the MCG. You know.
Yeah, that's awesome, mate. So, I mean, we're big supporters. Obviously, it's making a change in people's lives as well in a different way, just like Steve, that you're impacting, touching people's lives as well. So, but that's part of our topical commentary. Next week, we should have a little bit of music, sort of introing and outroing for that, but we'll get that right. So, look, I hope you're enjoying the show. Thank you for joining us. But don't go anywhere because I've got the great man, the tech guy, Julio Valencia, ready to go. This is his segment. Where's the drum roll? I don't have my.
Go.
Come on, let's go. Wait.
Come on, mate.
I think I can bring that. How's that? Thank you guys. Off you go.
All right. So
I love it.
you want to talk tech? All right. So
Beautiful.
they're going to have little segments basically in the show. They're going to be putting through some videos. At the moment, I'm organising with my friend Brett Cole to basically go to, Brett Cardwell to basically go and do some video recordings. So the next couple of shows, you will see some guys just being totally idiots and trying to make fun of ourselves as much as possible. As well as I'll try to inform you with different ideas of what you can do as you can get into hobbies, male hobbies from photography all the way through motorcycling clubs. And we're just going to be chatting about what we can pull apart, tinker with, and hopefully get back together working without our wives and girlfriends knowing, basically, before we get back. So that's going to be the program from my side. It's only going to be like a 2 or 3 minute set, apart from a couple of videos might take a bit longer. But apart from that, just have fun being guys, putting things apart. Hopefully some other females get to learn a couple of things about what men do while we're alone, sitting in a home, and go from there.
Awesome.
Hey, good stuff, Julio. Do you think, Steve Kane, do you think women are ever going to understand men, even after listening to one of Julio's segments?
Are women ever going to understand men? I think it might be the other way. No, I'm only joking. Look, I think if we all just stop and take time and realise that we're all just individuals and we're doing the best we can and that we're all equal, nobody's any different than anyone else. It doesn't matter about your gender or your race. We all bleed the same. We all cry the same. We all do the same stuff. So I think just patience, romper, a bit of patience, and just respect is one of the biggest things I think we can have for everybody, our women, our children, our men, and ourselves. One of the biggest things that I fight against every day is we don't respect ourselves enough. We get up every day, we hug people, we tell them we love them, we pay our bills, we do all that sort of stuff. But when was the last time anyone stopped and actually paid yourself? When was the last time you stopped and patted yourself on the back and said, you know what, I might be doing it tough or I'm doing all right, but you know what? Good job, bro. And they're the things that I'd like people to start looking at is let's put ourselves up. Let's not put ourselves down. And I think that's one of the most important messages.
Looks like Janine, that friendly feeling out in the concert, Paul.
Yeah, that's
what it's all about. What do you think, mate, of this comment?
Yeah, I love that comment, and I think it's right. We all got a part to play. And even though I sort of call it the topical commentary and let's just talk about Taylor Swift and what's happened, she's having an impact and bringing joy to people's lives. And as just like Steve is, just like you are, Mark, just like you are, Julio, and myself, we all play a part. Thanks, Janine, for contributing. Just thank you for everyone, Christopher, and Let's Rock with James and Gloria and everyone who's jumped on to Facebook and all wherever you're communicating from, through Community Heart, obviously through that Facebook link. We'll have the Facebook link available, Paul, Mark, and the tech guy next week. We'll get a little bit more streamlined. We won't have any of these echoing, right, Marcus? But hey, mate, what's happening next week, the great man, Mr. Mark? What do we got planned for next week? Because we need to probably time out coming up on the hour. We're going to go music overnight shortly.
I've been trying to put this show a bit around your good self, mate. Just concerned about you. You know, you've been a bit lost. So I've got the old mate Steve to set you on the right track today. And next week, we've got another guest that's going to come from a different perspective. We've got Katinda coming, and I'm sure she's going to have a few things to say to you, especially on how to find yourself and what men should be thinking about, and what she's thinking is some of the answers to some of your big questions, Paul. So really looking forward to having Katinda on the show next week.
That sounds amazing. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well,
and
Stephen,
look, I think he's going to help Julio too.
He's going to help Julio.
Can't help me. I'm sorry. I'm gone. I'm way gone.
Hey, I thought I was gone. You'll be right, Julio.
Tell you what, it's been great having the show again. Paul, Mark, and
awesome.
The tech guy. Really enjoyed being back on radio. And look, great to have Paul back on the show after a few years being out. He's been making a few chickens, cooking a few chickens out there. He stopped cooking chickens now, and he's back here where he should be, back on 98.9 Northwest FM.
No, we're loving it, mate.
Perfect.
We're loving it. I don't want to play Friday nights, 10:30 to midnight. Yeah, we've got the Smooth J show. Don't forget to check us out there. But we're back next Wednesday, 7 o'clock here at 98.9. Thanks, Marcus. Thanks to the tech guy. Love having on the show. And Stephen Kane, you're a legend. I look forward to catching up with you very, very soon. Don't go anywhere, guys, because there's lots of music on the hour, after the hour, and a lot more programming here, 98.9 Northwest FM. See you next week.